Shmai everyone, how are you all? This is my second Christmas card in the series using Wrapped in Plaid, which is from the new autumn winter Stampin' Up catalogue, which goes live on the 4th of September. So yesterday I showed you this card using the plaid, and today I'm using this one. Making this one. I'm trying to get straight, sorry. And I'm once again showing some love to some old retired items, because as I said yesterday, I can't afford to buy everything in the catalogue as much as we'd all like to, and often we have lots of things in our stash that we can use to replicate the cards. So I've used, as you see, some of the new paper, but I'm using all the rest of these, apart from this little green leaf. All the rest of these are then older items. I'll put that to one side. This is the plaid I'm using this time, and as you can see, it's got a little bit of a gold line running through it. And the colours today are cherry cobbler, crumb cake, and then, as I say, the green is cherry cobbler. Say that again. The red is cherry cobbler, and the green is shaded spruce. This pack has 48 sheets of 6x6 papers, and they are absolutely gorgeous. They would make really nice masculine cards as well, so not just Christmas cards with them. So here we go. Let's take out, I've prepped it already, and the other items I'm using are Peaceful Pines, Pretty Pines, sorry. Christmas Pines is the stamp set, and I'm going to be using this leaf one, and I'm using the Pretty Pines Thinlet dies. And although these are retired, in the new catalogue coming out, there's something called Peaceful Boughs, which would coordinate really nicely. I'm using Jar of Love, which sadly has gone, is one of my favourites, but if you have it on your shelf, then that's a nice one to use. And I'm just sort of trying to give it a bit of a Christmassy theme. So what I've done, my stays on is completely dried up, so I need to re-ink it. So I've stamped my jar on Whisper White, and then I've cut it then out of vellum to give it more of a glassy look to it. But I'm going to colour a bit of water in it. And the way I'm going to do that, as you can see, I've got Balmy Blue here, and I'm pressing down hard on it. There we go. We press it down again. The newer ones is slightly harder to do this with. It gives you then, as you can see, a big splodge. And I'm going to use my water brush, and I'm going to just squirt a little bit in. Now, Whisper White isn't meant to be used with water, so it'll rough up your paper a little bit. However, that won't matter because we're sticking the other little jar on top of it. There we are. What you need to do is see whereabouts you're going to put your jar, because you are then going to stamp your leaves, whichever leaves you're using. And this leaf set has actually got, you can add the darker details in, but because a lot of it's going to be covered, I'm just going to stick to the one colour. So I'm going to stamp it roughly there, and I'm going to use soft suede. There we are. So as I say, any leaf framelit or stamp set, if you haven't got this set, will work exactly the same. Now, sticking vellum is quite tricky because you'll often see the glue marks, but what I have found, my Tombow dries clear and is a pretty good one to stick it down with. What I try to do though is add the glue to areas where it's stamped so it doesn't sort of stand out too much. I'm going to stick that down. There we go. Yesterday I was making cards in Glorious Sunshine, but today the rain has come back. Right, just get a wet wipe now because I'm covered in glue. What I'm going to do then, I'm actually going to mount it on the cherry cobbler and crumb cake before I stick all the details on, because it's easier to fit in my trimmer. So my ATG gun and I, we had a bit of a falling out recently, but we're back on speaking terms. There we go. Here's my first mat. Now this one is too big, so once I've stuck this on, and the way I mat my things up is get it straight in two corners and give this a slightly bigger edge to it, and then I've just got two corners to trim. Bring in my squeaky trimmer at the moment. Oh look, messed up there. I'll give it a slightly smaller edge now then. Obviously the rain distracted me. There we go. And I always say about keeping these pieces because you can match your sentiments on. They're the perfect sort of size then. Now as you can see, for some reason, because the vellum is sort of pulling it up, what I'm going to do is stick my jar down. I'm leaving a bit of a gap at the top of the jar because I'm going to try and try and poke some of my foliage just underneath it. There it is. So, and then I'm going to put, I trimmed this one down, now I remember. Just give it a little bit of a prune. And I'm going to put it on there a second just to add, I'm using a zig two-way glue pen, and I'm not sticking it down perfectly. Oh, I've just realised I had the green underneath because I wanted to sort of stand out and give a bit of dimension. I'm going to cut this little piece off because I'm going to use that in a second. Add some glue to this one as well. And as you can see on this one, I was trying to use up my scraps and it's just cut that part off there. That is going to be covered with the other branch, so I'm not worrying about it too much, because it's the perfect kind of card to use all your little scrappy pieces up. Because us crafters, we do like to keep things just in case they come in handy. I'm just going to press it down now. I cut these little tiny ones out of vellum, which gives a different kind of quality. So I'm just sort of building up now the display in the jar. This piece I've cut off, I'm going to put down here. I need to put a little bit of glue down here as well, because my vellum doesn't want to stick in that corner. What I'm going to do is stick this down and put something heavy on top then. I won't use my bottom. There we go. So if I just stick that on there for now, then I'm going to prune this one as well because they're a little bit too long for my jar. There, and just put this one down there. And you can see once you've cut all the items out, it comes together really quickly. So have a look through your stamp sets or your dies and your embellishments, and show some love to some things you might have had last year or the year before. some demonstrators sell all their retired items, but I must say there are some of them that I just love so much that I can't part with. There are some that I sort of get rid of and make way for new items. There we go. And then one more little vellum piece. This glue also dries clear. Doesn't always like sticking to other embellishments. So that's my actual vase all done there. And even though it's raining, there's quite a bit of bright light coming in at the moment, so it's changing how it looks. Then I'm going to, with a bit of burlap, I'm going to make a little tiny bit of a bow. So I just make 2 rabbit ears and tuck one under the other. I'm not a great bow maker, I'll be honest. Little girls in school, I can just about put ribbons back in their hair. I'm just going to pull the end just to make it a little bit shorter. And then I'm going to stick it down with a glue dot. As you can see, it's sticking to me quite nicely. I've got a little tiny mini glue dot here, which I'm going to roll. It doesn't stand out so much. Stick it on the back. And once I've stuck it down, then I will trim the ends. And I've got it the length I want it to be. There's one. There's the other. Then I'm going to stick down my little pine cones. So what I've got is I've got a blank one, and then I'm just putting the other ones then over the top. Simples. There we go. Not much luck with my glue today. I think things are sticking to me more than the other items here. I'm just going to stick this little cluster down with wet glue. No, I didn't. I used a glue dot. I can remember now. Actually, I'm going to use 2 because they're the mini ones. And that then helps to keep this part of the jar down. There we go. I'm going to put that to one side while I put this on the card. So, as I say, I've used the wrapped in plaid designer papers from the new catalogue. And I'm just going to, I'm giving it a little bit of space around the bottom. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Bringing this back in now. Popping that on top. I just love the colours of this. There's a bit of like a farmhouse rustic feel to it, I think. And then I'm going to bring in some foam pads. Stick my sentiment on, which says, "May your Christmas sparkle with joy and happiness." And there it is. Just making sure it is straight. And there it is, all finished. So I have used the Jar of Love, Pretty Pines. I can't remember whether it's Perfect Pines or Pretty Pines. I'm sure it's Pretty Pines. And I've used the Christmas layer dies from the new catalogue. But the star of the show is the plaid. So there we go. There's the 2 cards in my series so far. So join me tomorrow where I'll be using another piece. Thank you so much for watching. Huge thanks to everyone who subscribed to me. It really does make a massive difference, and it really fills me with joy every time I see that I've got a new subscriber. So take care. See you soon. Thank you. Hwyl fawr.